I'm going to talk to you about being a zebra, to be a hero by being a zebra, and how that is important in order to succeed in the digitized working life, and how you could do that by using your superpowers or super talents, whatever. Välkommen. Oops. My name is Cathrin Frisemo, and I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a writer, I'm a speaker, focusing on leadership, health, and creativity. And to me, this is all intertwined. A bit about my background. I grew up in a IBM family. My father started working there already in 1969. I lived in Silicon Valley, and I lived in the US. I worked for digital equipment, was in Sweden. We launched the first color screen for computers, 1987. And then it was also said that laser printers, is going to be only on the big companies because it's so expensive. In 1987, a laser printer cost 100,000 kronas. And I'm kind of laughing now when I can see that they have like 3D printers at home. So don't ever believe if someone is saying that, this is the truth, this is how it's going to be. What else? 2 years ago, I published my book on Working Fake Life, Your Guide to the Digital Work Life. And this is so far only available in Swedish. I wrote it because I needed a guide to handle the new digital work life. I have a background in work-life research, and I was sick for a period of time, a very long period of time. And when I came back to the work life, it was a totally new kind of work life that I got back to. And I realized that all the truths that we've kind of talked about in the work-life research, I work for the National Institute for Working Life, was not valid anymore. It was a totally new work life, and new skills were needed. A new mindset was needed. More entrepreneurial mindset, freelancing mindset, creating mindset. And I realized that I really had to use my skills, what I was good at, because otherwise I was not going to be able to compete on the job market. And do you guys want to know my superpowers? I write. That's really what I really like to do, and I know that's a good skill that I have, or empower. I've always followed my own path through life. That's why I'm talking about being a zebra. I've heard that, like, for instance, I started at Karolinska Institute at the medical school in the beginning of the 1990s. And I said, I want to work with leadership, work organization, and how that affects our health. Because those are the two most important those two key factors for creating a healthy work environment, both for the company in the long run, if you want to have a sustainable company, and also for your own health, of course, and with healthy employees. And I was told that you're never going to be able to work with that, because maybe you're going to get a job at the gym. That's what I was told. I've read more physiology than MDs, very advanced, because it was under the physiology department at Karolinska. While I was writing, and that's another thing, following my own path and being a zebra, and how important it is to use your superpower and super talents, is that I really followed my passion when I wrote my paper for my bachelor. And I wanted to write on how health promotion could be part of a, by that time it was very popular to have private insurances. And I figured that like IT companies by that time would be very interested in keeping their employees healthy, because they had somehow down the road realized that when the employees from an IT company left the building, the value of the company was gone, right? Because the computers and everything, I mean, they're just tools, and you know, and of course that's the result from my my paper as well was that they had like all that Google is doing today for their employees. That's what these companies were doing already back like in the 1995, 96. So yeah, back to that, I was not going to be able to work with that. During my research for my paper, I went to the National Institute for Working Life, making an interview with a woman there. And when I left from the interview, I had a job. The paper was not already, I was not even done. And I was a Swedish representative in an organization that National Institute for Working Life was partnering, and it's called European Network for Workplace Health Promotion. So for the following year, I worked to identify 4 healthy workplaces in Sweden that was then reported and published. And it's still running, the European Network for Workplace Health Promotion. So I got that job, and then my boss was a psychopath, so I quit after a year. And that's another thing, you're not supposed to do it, right? Because I got into the big National Institute for Working Life, and I was asked to do my PhD and paid for and blah, blah, blah. And I said, sorry, I'm not doing it. First of all, I need to have a topic that I really want to do. Second of all, I'm not working with a psychopath as a boss. That's just it. And everybody knew it at the National Institute for Working Life, but not the leadership did not take care of it. So, with my knowledge, I figured, well, why not? So I jumped out and I started my own business. And then it was really tough. It is really tough to follow your own path in the short run, but in the long run, it always pays off. At least you have fun during the ride because you really enjoy what you're doing. So I met with the public health manager for Region of Skåne, and he asked me, do you believe in networking? And I said, yeah, because that's my third superpower. And I've been networking. I was actually in the first women network, a business network, like 30 some years ago in Stockholm. We started it. Anyway, and he asked me, do you believe in network as a method to increase workplace health? And I said, yes, if we focus on managers and how to organize work. So I got the job in my business, and I did the basic values, and kind of got the steering group together and so forth. So when I quit, I got sick actually. I had 250 workplaces involved. It was 27 networks in 24 municipalities of Skåne. And I arranged conferences and blah, blah, blah. I was replaced by 2 persons, and they were not even doing all the job that I was doing. So I was doing a lot, but I was a single mother, and I had my own business on the side. So I was doing this on 80%. It was fine, but the only thing was that after 6 years, I got the right diagnosis. And first I was diagnosed with burnout, of course. But it was not. I had a whiplash injury. And that's the same symptoms and a couple of more that they're the same as for a burnout. But just a couple of more symptoms that they did ignore that I was telling them about. And I'm very stubborn because I knew that my body is self-healing, and I also knew that there was something wrong because this was not a burnout. I knew so much. And otherwise, and they twice I've been through really long research, for trying to figure out, if I should be on disability or not. And they said both times, you're never going to be able to lecture again. You're never going to be traveling, working again. And this is what I'm doing for a living today. So don't believe what they tell you. You can do more than you believe. And the body is self-healing, and don't ever give up. Follow your path, because you know by your gut feeling what's right and what's not. You have to lead yourself. And trust that. I'm doing it all the time. Anyway, so I wrote this book. And my third power is I'm a hell of a good professional in having ficus. But that's also kind of, to put it a bit more serious, is about networking. Sitting down, say, let's have a fika. And you network at the same time. So it's a relaxed way of networking. So those are my superpowers. So it's all about lead yourself to creativity and health. You have to be empowered and trust yourself. And I don't know what it is. I also blog now on Stilettos on the Glass Ceiling, which is an American blog. It's on the Forbes 100 list of career blogs. And soon my article is going to be published about all these brilliant women like you guys that I meet all the time. And why, first of all, have we not come further than we have? And don't take another course, please. Just go out and work. Because I meet all these women, this is like, I'm just going to take another course. I'm just going to do a little bit more, and then. And I was telling you that I meet all these brilliant women all the time. And I honestly, sometimes I'm more or less, to generalize a bit, is that I'd rather work with a woman than a man for one reason. And one of the reasons is that if a woman tells me, I know this, she probably knows 50% more or have 50% more skills. And if I meet a man that's going to be working with me, I'm happy if he has the skills that he claims that he has, because usually they don't. Now, I know I'm generalizing, but it's not very uncommon from my experience that women are so overqualified. And I'm a lot in the startup world. And I see all these brilliant with PhDs, with MDs. I mean, they have like, they're so well educated. And still I can see when they're pitching, their uncertainty, and also women that don't get financed as much. That's just the reality. And that's why women in tech is another issue that I really think is very important that we talk about. Anyway, lead yourself. It's be empowered, your creativity and your health, and know your superpowers. Do you know your superpowers? Some days. Okay, that's good. This I'm a Cebra concept was actually a year ago, sprung out of a lecture I had a year ago about how to network. And have you heard the story, by the way, about the zebra that wanted to be a lion? No? There is none. Because have you ever crossed your mind that this zebra actually thinks on the savannah that I really would like to be more like of a lion? Do you think they even think that way? Or I mean, the giraffe wants to be a tiger or vice versa? Probably not, right? But why do we? Why do we always walk around thinking, oh, I wish I was like, huh? Instead of thinking, I'm just fine the way I am. I have my skills. If I would tell you now that you don't have to do anything, you're just perfect the way you are right now. No, you don't need to perform or do anything. You're just perfect. How does it feel? And why should you not be? And why should you always try to be someone else? I don't know. Can you tell me, please? Because I don't know. I meet women and men all the time trying to be someone that they're not. Have you ever thought about when you go to school? I don't know if any one of you have children, but at least you've been a child or you've been in school. That, you know, if you go to like one of those parent talks, you know, and they sit down with you, and then you're taught that you're going to focus at the good stuff in the beginning, and then you're going to take the negative part, like, you know. So then they start telling you, oh, you're so good at this, you're so good at this. But down here, there are areas of improvement. And hey, focus on those. Don't give a damn of what you're good at. Just focus on the things that you're not good at. And I'm just like, why? And why should you not? I mean, it's, to me, if you step into an economical point, from an economical point of view, I mean, I think it's misuse of resources. I mean, because economy is about using the resources you have in the best way. And as a person and as a country, if we talk about national economics or finance, I mean, isn't it stupid not to use the best of everybody's skills and talents in the country? I mean, it's totally plain logical, to me anyway. It doesn't make sense not doing it. And it's like me, I hate cooking. I really do. I'm totally lousy. I really suck at cooking. And Should I improve my skills in cooking and struggle the whole life to be your chef? Then I'm not going to be good. I'm going to be okay, but I'm not going to be really good, and I'm going to hate every day. Or when I was going through for rehabilitation for a thing that I was not even sick for, but anyway, it was that everybody would benefit as a burnout to go to Alnarp's gardens for rehabilitation because it's so good. I hate gardening. I honestly I do. So why? I mean, it's so stupid. You have to find your own way through life. And also, one thing about getting to know your superpowers also is like you have to define what success is to you in today's work life. What does success and wealth means to you? I've written about it. So this is the book that came out from the speech last year. I'm going to publish it after Christmas about being a zebra, about this lecture. Anyway, I write about it. It's like, what is wealth to you? What is success? And the only thing that matters is what it is to you, to you, to you. What it means to me, it's probably totally different. And you have to know, because otherwise you're going to walk around being unhappy your whole life. And don't let anybody else decide what a successful life is to you and what wealth is to you. You have to decide that by yourself. Because otherwise you're going to be unhappy. And I can see trends are that we're moving away from defining oneself by what you own and what you do, to define your success by being who you are. And by being who you are, you will need to use your superpowers. So that's my kind of mission to you now, is that, or your, your exercise to bring with you, your takeaway from here, is to go home, ask your friends, or sit down and list all the good things that you're good at doing and what you really enjoy. Because usually, surprisingly or not, what you enjoy doing is probably part of your superpowers. And that's what's needed to succeed in the digitized work life. If you're going to be, I mean, imagine more and more people, especially the young kids, 25 or 20 and below, they're encouraged to do what they're good at. How are we going to compete with people, with colleagues that use their superpowers, their skills? Because that's what you're going to be good at. You're not going to be able to compete with them if you're not doing what you really enjoy, and your life is going to be miserable. Not miserable, but it's going to be definitely a bit more fun. So know who you are and live it. Go ahead and just do it. You know, use your superpowers and talents. Be proud of yourself. And hey, you're the world champion on being you. Nobody else could be you. So you don't even have a competition in there. You're always a world champion in being you with no effort. This is I'm a Zebra. You can start following. I'm already posting there. I have a Facebook page. The book is going to be out by in January. I'm going to go over to the US and launch it as well. I was over pre-launching it in April or beginning of May in Las Vegas at the Collision Conference, and I got some really good contacts. I was following my path. So it's going to be launched. It's going to be written about in stilettos on the glass ceiling as well. Women in Tech International is going to do some promotion about it too. So I'm really proud of myself. And this is thanks to Geek Girl Meetup, because this was my lecture about a year ago, and I kind of got this idea from having the lecture on my passion on networking and what's successful factors for networking. And I guess you know what it is. Be who you are. Okay, well, thank you and for listening, and please feel free to hook up with me and network with me. And go out and be zebras now, okay?